Wake me up before you go. Please don't leave me going to the library solo. Wake me up before you go out. Take me book shopping tonight. I wanna hear that. Ah. Wow, that was cringeworthy. Disclaimer. The actions in this video will not be filmed all in the same day. Because reasons. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Katarina and welcome to my channel, and today I am going to be doing a book haul through time. And you're going to be like, say what? Sorry? Well, I've been feeling that I have not been doing my book hauls as I normally do, so a book haul per month or per 2 months or something at the beginning of the month corresponding to the ending of the previous month. I'm just doing them all jibber jabber and all really strange. So what I decided to do was actually film my book haul in parts as I was receiving my stuff and just post this, I don't know, at the end of September, beginning of October. We don't know. We will see. So this will probably have the books that I got in the end of July, beginning of August, and then September if I have some. So let's get into the video. So the first part of this is some books that I already had here that I haven't hauled. We have books that were on promotions. We have some manga, and we have some comics and graphic novels and stuff. So I'm gonna haul these first because I want to put them in the shelves. I don't have space to have them out of the shelves. I don't even have space to have them on the shelves, but let's just... Ooh, I need some shelves. Okay. So I'm gonna do these first, and then progressively I will add to this video and we will see. So first of all, I'm going to be starting with the books, then I will go to the comics, and then I will end with the manga, which is what most people that are in my channel want to see, but I think you will also appreciate all of the rest of the things that I'm going to haul, and because of that, I decided to start this way. If you don't want, I will have timestamps in the description so you can jump around to the things that you actually want to see me haul. So the first one that I got is Dracula, and it's in Portuguese. However, this is a very gorgeous, beautiful graphic edition of Dracula. I have read Dracula already. I have the book Dracula written by Bram Stoker in Portuguese as well, which I also want to read it someday in English maybe, but for now, I've read it in Portuguese. This edition is also in Portuguese because it's translated from the French. This is by George Bess, I think that's how you say it, and it's an adaptation of Bram Stoker's classic. So it is all illustrated like this. It is beautiful, it is dark, it is gothic. Look at the count. It's just really beautiful, and it's basically the story of Dracula. I have been perusing through to see the art and everything, and this is the story of Dracula by Bram Stoker, so not the adaptation from the movie, but from the actual book, but with beautiful illustrations. And I don't believe this is provided in English, because this was a Portuguese translation directly from the French one, which were the people that, in this case, a person that did the art style for this. But I mean, try and find it if you can. I don't know, because it's really, really gorgeous. I'll show you the behind. It's really beautiful. The artwork is great, and one of the best gothic tales ever is Dracula. So, of course, I'm saying of course, like I was the one that bought this, but as per usual in my hauls, you know I was gifted this by the same person that always gifts me books. So let's thank to our sponsor of book hauls, Dracula. Then for books, I have King of Thornes by Mark Lawrence. So this is the second one in the Prince Thorn or the Thorn series. I'm not really sure how that series is called. This is of course the Portuguese copy. I had the first one and the third one, so only this one was left for me to have the trilogy and for me to actually read it. And I've been very intrigued. I have heard some not so great things about Mark Lawrence, but I've heard a lot of people hyping this up as a grimdark fantasy, so I want to read it for myself and see if I enjoy it. For one, I know this is a story of this prince. When he's very, very small, he sees his family murdered, I think, and he's stuck on thorns, so he gets these huge scars and he can't save anyone. And he's also very small, so he couldn't done it anyway. And then he just becomes batshit, completely revengeful, crazy, and wants to rule. I don't know. I found it interesting. We will see if it's interesting. But I've heard a lot about Mark Lawrence. Not always good, but not always bad, so I want to read for myself. Then I have The Whisper Man by Alex North. This is supposed to be a thriller, sort of creepy thriller. I don't know, the premise is nice, but I've been disappointed by some of the thrillers that I've been reading recently, so I hope that this doesn't. This was like 30% off, so it was pretty cool. And I think that it's about this dad, and he, after the death of his wife, he goes with his child to this little city, this little village, like a fresh start sort of thing. However, that village has a dark past about this serial killer, but now he's at prison, but the son of this man starts hearing whispers and behaving differently. I don't know if it's supposed to be supernatural or just plain creepy. The cover is gorgeous, but I do hope that what's inside is great as well, because I need a good thriller. Then the next one that I have, this one I got for myself because my boyfriend said I won't patronize your vices on this. I don't agree with this, so you can read it if you want. But I got it. I am a profound fan of Twilight, which I can see everyone unsubscribing, but I know that it's not a good book. It's a problematic book and it's not well written at all. However, I am a fan. And so in that vein, I got Crave by Tracy Wolff because this was printed in Portuguese, and I was like, okay, so I am helping Portuguese publishers, which debatable if one should or not. And I am also reading vampires. So I am expecting this to be like the worst thing ever written, but to be fun and enjoyable. And the cover of it, in the vein of the Twilight covers, is fucking gorgeous. I love like all of the black with the whites and a little bit of red is just perfection. I don't know what this is about. I think it's about this girl. She's going to study to Alaska, and where she's going to study, there's a lot of creatures, not only vampires. There's this particular vampire, this brooding vampire, which we can all say it's in the vein of Edward Cullen from Twilight and Angel from Buffy. I have actually been rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I can precisely tell you that Stephenie Meyer, the author of Twilight, must have watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer because Angel is as brooding as Edward Cullen. You can unsubscribe if you want, but if you want more details, I can give you in the comments down below that I have been seeing some similarities. And I have been reporting them to my boyfriend, and he's very sad that they are true. But they really are. So we have another brooding vampire that I don't know wants to bleed her to death. He doesn't like her. Nobody likes her, per usual. I don't know. There's dangerous shit. I want to read it. Then we have something from a Portuguese author, actually, and I follow her on Instagram, and she's really, really nice, and I really want to read it. And it's called O Caça-Cidades de Ana C. Reis. And this is in Portuguese, but she's also writing in English, and one of her English novels, like her newest novel, is in English, I believe. It's called The Summoner's Cry, and it's coming out in October, and I'm so excited to read it because it sounds awesome. That's fantasy. This, however, I'm not really sure. This doesn't sound like a fantasy at first glance. It sounds a little bit more like a, I don't know, string of thought about relationships and family. So I can't translate this title, but it could be The City Catcher if you want. If you are Portuguese and you are watching this channel, I would highly recommend that you read this. I haven't read it yet, but I've seen beautiful reviews, and of course I will do one of mine. But it's always important, if we are Portuguese, to actually try and help our indie authors to get more books out, because there's talent here, and for some reason Portuguese publishers do not want to have much to do with Portuguese authors, which is really, really bad. But whatever, that's not the point of this book haul. So, this book is about So this girl called Sophia, she is trying to forget the shadows of her past while dealing with the unexpected death of her father, and she's struggling to try and revive her relationship with her sister. However, her sister, the way that she remembered her sister, because she went away and then she came back, her sister looks like a ghost. You know, she's not happy as she used to be, she's not outgoing, she's not the sister that she remembered. And it says, time and choices have transformed them into strangers, but whilst the world is closing in itself to protect from an invisible enemy, Sophia and Elena, which are our main characters, are forced to trust in each other once more. And I don't know, I think this is about the pandemic a little bit, like coming home and having to be inside of your own house with another person that you don't know that well anymore, but you are family and you want to work things out. I don't know, it sounds beautiful. It's really small. This has what? I'm trying not to spoil myself. This has 52 pages and it sounds sweet and beautiful and heartbreaking, and I really want to read it as soon as possible. So if you're Portuguese, maybe consider giving this a chance. I don't know. Then I did something. Well, not me. The person who gifted this to me, as per usual. This was with 30% discount. This is a Portuguese version of the first book of The Wheel of Time. This is The Eye of the World, if I'm saying it correctly. And I was going to do this collection in English because there's like 14 volumes in this, and I wasn't sure that our publishers will edit everything, because there's a problem in Portugal is that we start editing and then we stop. I don't know if it's because of sales, if it's because expenses, I don't know, but taking things to an end is not our thing, so I was fairly concerned. But at this point, 4 volumes are already out, and I was like, okay, they're gonna do it because of Amazon TV series and everything. But I've never read The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, and I really want to. Not only because there's going to be an Amazon TV series, which I would like to watch maybe after I've read 2 or 3 books, but because it's one of the staples in fantasy. And I consider myself a fantasy lover and a fantasy reader, and I've never read The Wheel of Time, so you can see my problem. I have no idea what this is about, so I'm not going to try to summarize it for you. I just know it's a different fantasy world, one that many people love, and I'm excited to get into this. And then we have a very known book, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is supposed to be dark academia. There's supposed to be this murder in this college of this group of young people that study classic studies in New England. Is just supposed to be all posh and cool, and there's a mystery. There's people that hate this book. There's people that say that this is the OG dark academia book, and I've been wanting to read Donna Tartt because she won a Pulitzer with The Goldfinch, I think, which I've never read as well. So, Secret History, everyone knows this. So that's all for the books. Let's get into the comics. So first of all, we have a very fun story, and this one has to do with the fact that I have issue 2 of V. Schwab's Extraordinary. So if you're following V. Schwab, if you know who V. Schwab is, she's the writer of A Darker Shade of Magic. She's also the writer of Vicious, and this comic is set on the world of Vicious after the events of Vicious, and I don't know if it has to do with events of Vengeful or not. I have to read it. But I have issue 2. I don't have issue 1 because a delivery wasn't made to my store, and it will probably only be here next month. And for next month, I say September, hopefully. But issue 2 is a beauty. I love it. I believe this is a story of a girl. She dies and she has a near-death experience. She comes back and now she's able to see when other people will die and when she will die and how will that proceed. And she sees that Eli Ever is going to kill her. So she has to find him and discover everything about him before she actually dies to try and prevent her death, which is pretty cool. If you know Vicious, I think you will love this because extraordinaries are people with superpowers because they had near-death experiences. It's fun. It's sort of a superhero comic, which I don't read a lot about, but I should read more, and so I am excited. Then we have The Nice House on the Lake, issue 2. This is by James Tynion IV, Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and Jordi Belair, and this is a continuation of a comic that I had shown in my previous haul. I do believe it's sort of a play on The Last House on the Left and other horror stories. cabins in the woods and people that are going in there. There are some symbols in here that I do believe represent people and specific professions that I have, but I haven't started this. I'm going to in September, I think, so I'm very excited. How many times have I said excited? But I really am. Of all of these books, I really want to read them. Then we have another one that I haven't started yet, and this is already issue 4, so you see my problem. But this is RWBY and Justice League crossover. This is issue 4. This is by Bennett, Anik, and Hi-Fi. Cool. Okay. I really have to start knowing the names of these people. But this is a crossover between RWBY and Justice League. I don't know how this will happen. I haven't read it, but it sounds fun. Then we have the Joker issue 5, which I have already read. This is, again, by James Tynion IV, by Rosenberg and Francavilla, and they changed the artist. The artist of the covers is the same, but the artist on the inside, the art is completely different. And I am not sure I loved it, but because it was a flashback issue, I think we'll return to the supposed art in the next issue, which I really hope so, because the way that they were tackling the Joker with all of that art and all of that dialogue was incredible. And this one was a bit, I mean, it was fun, it was nice, but it was very, very much about Gordon, and it was very, very much about the first night that the Joker spent in Arkham in his life. And it was a bit boring, to be honest, which I'm not used to with Joker comics, but we will see the rest. Then we have The Conjuring, The Lover, issue 2, which is by DC Horror and Johnson, McGoldrick, Ogle, Grayson, Brown, Ferreira, and Spicer. These are the people that work on this comic. And the art is beautiful. On the inside, I haven't seen it yet, and I am not really sure what this is about, but it has to do with the Conjuring world, which we love. So I haven't seen, I think this is the chair that Annabelle was on in the first Conjuring, and I think that this is a reference to the Conjuring 3, which if you haven't seen, I'm not going to spoil, but I'm trying to understand if this is like Warren cases or if it has to do with the cinematic universe of the Conjuring, which I will have to do by reading. Then I have volume 1 of the Image graphic novel Stillwater. I have no idea, like this is by Chip Zdarsky, Ramon K. Perez, and Mike Spicer, and this is called Rage, the first volume. This is apparently, I'm just going to read it back, it says, nobody dies. In the town of Stillwater, that's not just a promise, it's a threat. Seemingly frozen in time and unable to age, its citizens have learned to exist with the knowledge that they will live forever. With no one allowed in or out of the town under the threat of severe violence, things seem normal from the outside. But when Daniel shows up in town after receiving a mysterious letter, you'll find out if immortality is a gift or a curse. And I mean, sounds fucking awesome. And this cover is my life. It's like creepy, but with bright colors and cool. I don't know, I just like it. Then we have volumes of Umineko no naku koro ni, because that's my fucking life. And there's only one left with these to finish that series and do a review for you, because wow, this has been an amount of time spent on these. But so we have volume 17 of Umineko no naku koro ni, Requiem of the Golden Witch, part 2. Then we have volume 18 of the same, Requiem of the Golden Witch, part 3, volume 18. And then because I already had 19, we skipped to volume 20, which is Twilight of the Golden Witch, part 2. This is all by Rukishio 7. He's the creator of this. The artist changes, and this specific volume is Kei Natsumi, and in these ones is Eita Mizuno. But there's a lot of artists throughout this series, which is also cool because you can see a lot of different art style. This is a horror manga, and sort of a sequel set on the same world, parallel universes sort of thing to one of my favorite mangas ever, Igarashi no naku koro ni. So that's why I have it. I won't explain what this is. It's too messy, but one day, I promise you, I'll do a review on this because these are the most underrated manga I've ever seen. So now for other stuff, we have RWBY, the official manga anthology volume 5, which I never thought it was going to happen since I read all of the other 4 anthologies and thought, well, this is it. But no, it's Shine, the 5th volume, and it's about the team GNPR, which is this team. So the short stories about characters of this team that became prominent in the world of RWBY. If you haven't seen the animation RWBY, full on advise you to do it. It's pretty cool. Then I have Your Name, Another Side Earthbound Volume 1, and this is the most famous Your Name story of bot swapping, but seen by the friends of the main characters instead of by the main characters. So them seeing the differences in the main characters whilst they were doing their body swapping sort of thing. And the artwork is beautiful. It's also by Makoto Shinkai, and the art is by Junya Nakamura, and there's another part of the story that is done by Arata Kanoa. And I don't know, I really love Your Name. I haven't seen the movie, but I've read the 3 mangas that comprise the series, and I really want to read these because, I don't know, it's just a nice sci-fi, fluffy, lovey story. I like it. Then we have a new release, and this is called Mars Red, Volume 1, and I'm losing my voice. So Mars Red is by Buno Fujisawa and Karakara Kemuri, and this is a story of vampires. You know, there's vampires in this book haul. And it says, Aoi is an enterprising young journalist living in Taisho-era Tokyo. Though the city is striving, a string of murders have left people shaken. As Aoi investigates the crime, she sees her old friend Shutaro. But Shutaro's dead, isn't he? What Aya doesn't know is that Shutaro is a vampire working for the government as a part of an elite unit. Can he protect Aoi from the dark forces battling from the city's soul? So basically, there's vampires going astray, and the government is using actual vampires to fight vampires. So it's kind of like Elsing, but I don't know if it's better or worse. We will see. The artwork is pretty, so I really want to read this. And we have what I hope will be a masterpiece. That is Nijigahara Holograph, and this is by Inyo Asano. It's a hardcover, and it's fucking beautiful. Look at this. This is gorgeous. And I'm just going to read you the back because I cannot summarize this. I cannot. This is too perfect. And it says, butterflies ominously proliferate as children whisper rumors of a mysterious creature lurking in the tunnel behind the school. To appease its wrath, they decide to offer it a sacrifice, a human one. But this is only the beginning of Nijigahara Holograph, which takes place in 2 separate timelines and involves the suicidal Amahiko, Kota, the love-struck bully, their teacher, Miss Sakaki, whose heavily bandaged face remains a mystery, and many more brothers, sisters, parents, co-workers, teachers, aggressors, and victims who are all inextricably linked to one another. 10 years later, all we have to face what they have done or suffer through, and maybe the end of the world. Nijigahara Holograph, complex, challenging, and elliptical, was named one of the most anticipated new manga at Comic-Con International San Diego. Hailed as the voice of the current generation in Japan, Inyo Asano, whose Solanin, which I've read and loved, was nominated for Eisner and Harvey Awards and was made into a feature film, delves into David Lynchian territory with this psychological horror story. All say hail. Hail to the master. Yes, we want, we need, we will read. We love the fucking butterflies, we love this cover, and we love Inyo Asano's artwork. It's beautiful. He normally has beautiful double pages, but I don't want to spoil myself, so I won't search for them, but I have a lot of expectations. And then we have 2 volumes of the same manga, which is A School Frozen in Time, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and this is by Naoshi Arakawa, which is the artist that worked on My Lie in April, which I haven't read, but I've seen the animation and I've cried my eyes out, my god. And the story is by Mizuki Tsujimura, and this is a story of a group of students. They go to school, and one day they see... Well, I'm just gonna read the back because it's too perfect. On a snowy school day like any other, classmates and childhood friends Hiroshi and Mizuki arrive at school to find the campus eerily empty. Before long, they find themselves trapped inside with 6 other friends, and even stranger, all the clocks have stopped at a very specific moment, the exact time when a former classmate jumped off the school roof to their death 3 months early. It turns out that this departed friend is their way out of their current predicament and may even be among their group. but no one can remember who it was that took their life on that sad day. The students must face themselves and their past memories to piece together the identity of the suicide victim or risk a similar fate with their lives lost and forgotten inside these frigid school walls. Perfection! We are talking about psychological horror, school setting, threads of fate, as you can see, and teenagers. Fucking perfection. There's going to be angst, there's going to be horror, there's going to be ghosts, there's going to be pain. Ooh, mental health, which hopefully will be dealt with good. We hope. Yes, I'm here for it. I want it. So that puts an end to the first part of this haul. Hopefully there will be a second one. I will see you in the second one. Okay, so we're back for another portion. Just focus on my face, please. I know that my face is terrible and that you hate me, but yes, thank you. Another portion of the book haul. This is going to be a very big one. So these are the books that I got from the book fair, which, if you don't know, Porto does a book fair, as does Lisbon and other places, and it just started and I went and I got some books. So, keeping going with the book haul, I got The Man Who Was Not There, and this is the third one in the Sebastian Berghem series, which I have been reading. And this one is by Michael Orst and Hans Rosenfeld. So it's a Scandinavian thriller. If you've seen my wrap-ups, you've seen that I've read Dark Secrets, which is the first one, and I have also read The Men Who Looked at Women. I think that's the name of the second one. And I am dying to read the third one since they're all so great. I hate the character of Sebastian Berghem, but at the same time, I just admire him so much. He's even more fucked up than I am, and that's saying something. So apparently this continues the main thread of the plot of the other two books, but it has to do with some killings that happened in the mountains a long time ago. Skeletons are found, children's skeletons are found, and so Sebastian Berghem and his team, which is most likely the team and Sebastian Berghem because he's not really part of the team, are invited to actually understand what is going on. And I am going to start reading this immediately. Then I got Outlander. Wait, what's the name of this? An Echo in the Bone. But this is volume 7, and this one is part 2, because in Portugal they decided, let's just split the books in two so that we can actually charge twice for the same book, which is awesome. And you're going to say, well, that's part 2. Where is part 1? Do you have it already? No, but in the book fair it wasn't available because Lisbon Book Fair is happening at the same time of Porto Book Fair. And so they don't have stock in Porto because everything is in Lisbon, as per usual. Great. But I got the second one, and we will see if I can still get the first one in order to read it. You all know what the Outlander series is about: time traveling to Scotland, English woman, now families, stuff, drama. I love it. It is sort of historical fiction mixed with fantasy, which I really enjoy. Speaking about historical fiction, this is not really historical fiction, but it is a bit, and it's The Man in the Iron Mask by Alexandre Dumas. If you've been on this channel, you know that I love Alexandre Dumas. He's one of my favorite writers. I have read The Three Musketeers, I've read The Count of Monte Cristo, I've read The Black Tulip, and I want to read more of his works. But these ones are extremely difficult to find in Portuguese, so I've seen this for €3 on the fair, and I just decided to get it. So The Man in the Iron Mask is part of the Three Musketeers trilogy, which not a lot of people know that the Three Musketeers is a trilogy. And the trilogy is comprised by the Three Musketeers, 12 Years After, and The Man in the Iron Mask. So I need to get 12 Years After. If you know where I can get it, please tell me something in the comments down below, in order to read the entirety of the trilogy. So reread the Three Musketeers and then read the rest. But this, I think, it says, is the final episode in the cycle of novels featuring Dumas' celebrated foursome of D'Artagnan, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis, who first appeared in the Three Musketeers. Some 35 years on, the bonds of comradeship are under strain as they end up on different sides in a power struggle that may undermine the young Louis XIV and change the face of French monarchy. So there's been a movie with this with Leonardo DiCaprio, which I've already seen, and there's been another one which is even more gruesome, which I've also seen, but I don't remember as well. So if you've seen those, you already know what this is about. If you've not, there's a fucking awesome plot twist in this. And I really want to read it because Dumas' writing is perfect. Then I've got another classic, Macbeth by William Shakespeare. So I have seen Macbeth represented in theater and I have really enjoyed it. However, I have never actually read a Shakespeare work in its actually original language or in other language. I've never read Shakespeare, period. And I've always felt like I would love it. And Macbeth seems like the perfect one to start with. It is small, it's a dramatic sort of fantasy-like play, and I already know that I enjoy it because I've already seen the play. It says, Shakespeare's Macbeth is one of the greatest tragic dramas the world has known. Macbeth himself, a brave warrior, is fatally impelled by supernatural forces by his proud wife and by his own burgeoning ambition. As he embarks on his murderous course to gain and retain the crown of Scotland, we see the appalling emotional and psychological effects on both Lady Macbeth and himself. The cruel ironies of their destiny are conveyed in poetry of unsurpassed power. In the theater, this tragedy remains perennially engrossing, which is true. And since I found this, and it was, again, €3, and it's really, really small, I thought, why the heck not? And it has this beautiful cover with the blood on the hands, which I know why. And it says, something wicked this way comes. We love it. We really love it. Then we have 2 more books in the Wheel of Time series, which I am collecting in Portuguese, and they are printed by Bertrand Editores, and I got them on the book fair with a cool discount. So I have The Great Hunt, which is the second one, and I have The Dragon Reborn. At least that's how I think it's called, because these translations normally are pretty accurate for this fantasy universe. And I haven't read The Eye of the World yet, which is the first one. But I always wanted to read The Wheel of Time. It's one of the most known fantasy series ever. It's one of the most ancient as well, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Of course, it's by Robert Jordan, if I haven't told you yet. And I don't know, I'm very curious about it. And since 3 are already out, the 4th one is out as well, but it was really expensive. So I will leave it for the next time. I really want to have already 3 so I can dive into this. They're fairly smaller than I thought. The 4th one is really big, apparently. I've seen it. So yeah, I don't know. I want to read it. And then we have an amazing surprise, which came out this month of August at the time that I'm filming this, not at the time that this is coming up. And this is The Queen's Bargain by Anne Bishop. And this is the not expected continuation to one of my favorite series ever, and that series is the Dark Jewels or the Black Jewels trilogy. So it's not only a trilogy, it has an entirety of the Black Jewels world, and I have all of those novels of that world. I have all of them, I love all of them, and that is saying a lot because I bought all of Anne Bishop's books and I sold 2 of her series because I couldn't stand them. And I have another one of her series which is enjoyable but not amazing, but I really like it, so I'm sticking with it already because the world is pretty cool, which is the ephemera world. But the Jewels is perfection. Every single book, maybe not every single, but pretty much every single book in the Jewels series, because of the characters and because of the world, is so sexy and so dark and ravishing. I love it, and I wasn't expected this to be translated as soon as it was. And apparently there's one more book to come, so I did have to grab this, and I think that I'm going to reread the entirety of the Jewels series, and then I am going to review it for you because it's a criminally underrated series, and you need to know about it, and I need to read this. So yeah, that's going to be all for now. I don't know if it's the end of this video. We will see. Maybe I get more books. Who knows? Apologizing for the difference in setting, but we have one more thing for this haul, and that is volume 21 of Umineko no naku koro ni. Again, I'm not going to explain what this is, but this one is the last volume of the series. This series is created by Ryukishio 7. And this art style is by Kei Natsumi, which I do believe has done others in the series of Umineko and also Igarashi possibly. But I finally finished the series, yay! Okay, so this is going to be the last clip of this haul because, pardon my shaking, but my hands are shaking and I don't have where to put this. I will probably do another one of my September mangas that come for me. Not really sure, but this one is already too long, and I just wanted to tell you goodbye. So if you know any of these books and mangas and comics, or are you interested in purchasing some, or I don't know, just want to talk about them, tell me something in the comments down below. And that's going to be all for today, so happy readings to you all. Wake me up before you go, leave me hanging on the line when you leave me up before you go out, taking me dancing tonight. I love this song. Who doesn't love this song? Bye.